Hederia kumojega yareiro ne areithia pori mapere kwero otuku gatagate ne mamegwire.
Welcome to Living Truthfully. My name is Amani Maranga, and I'm so excited about this episode because I'm going to be talking about Christmas, and I'm talking at this year from a place of just healing and looking back as opposed to the pain that we're going to be talking about. But Living Truthfully is a podcast that is really just my perspective as an African man on everything that is life, parenting, relationships, work, business, just friendships, all that is life around me. And I want to be able to live one single authentic life, and that's what this podcast is about. And I want to say thank you for listening. I want to thank you for sharing the podcast. I want to thank you for downloading the podcast. I mean, the first 2 episodes, it's incredible how people have just poured love. I mean, the number of people who've sent me text messages and saying they just want to hug me. Please bring those hugs. Yeah, I like them. Oh, I might do a hugging sound effect. I'm joking. But like, this really is. Thank you so much for that feedback. Please keep listening, keep sharing, keep downloading the podcast. Now you'll realize that from your feedback, you said that, I needed to do better sound. I needed to do, let's just have it cleaner. And an amazing friend of mine just came and said, you know what, Amani, I'm going to help you do this podcast. And I want to give a big shout out to Big City Studios, which is now the home of Living Truthfully. It's a place where we'll be doing this podcast. And my boy, Lee Kanyoto, thank you so much for doing this for me. I can't wait to see where this journey goes. And so if you're looking to do any sound recording work, please make your way to Big City Studios. I will be actually putting a link on or contacts or something the way you can reach them. Now, today's episode 3 is happening just before Christmas 2018. And this is one of the few Christmases I'm not dreading. And I have not dreaded in the last 4 years. Christmas for me has been a painful experience post my separation and during my divorce, because it just reminds me how lonely I am. And, I thought that if I told you this by myself, you might not believe it. And so I'm going to call a friend of mine. His name is Marcus Olang. I'm going to call Marcus, who, in also the recent past has just gone through a shift in his marriage status. And I want him to share his experience, and we can talk together with him, and you can get to understand why I want to focus on the people whose relationships have shifted and they find themselves alone during Christmas. So if your marriage has ended, if your whatever relationship you were in has ended, maybe someone has passed away and you feel lonely, I want to acknowledge you during this Christmas and say, you're not alone. This has been our experience as well. For Marcus and I, has been from divorce. And there's some things you could do about it. All right. Marcus, thank you so much for taking this call. How are you?
I am good. I am very well. Well, I'm battling a cough. However, It is well. I shall be well. It has to die before Christmas Day.
Well, I'm tempted to ask how you acquired the cough.
I think you know very well how this cough came about.
I deny.
It was a series of very bad decisions. I would say 2 nights ago. However, I lost track of that particular night.
I deny all knowledge. Money has been poured to malign my otherwise very good name. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you, well, that's not why I came, but now that we are here, that I have nothing to do with Marcus's cough. I have nothing to do with it. I might have been in the vicinity of where he made his own choices about
that is very well played. I was just about to pour. Your device has a location history.
Yeah, no.
And it can be tracked, and it shall be known that we were in a 1 meter radius of each other.
By device, he means my phone, just in case you're asking.
Foolish.
We can, and bro, I'm so grateful to have you on phone, because I'm having this conversation about Christmas and how Christmas changes for a man after a family breakup. So,
oh yes,
so,
my gosh.
What I was telling my audience about how I got separated about 4 years ago, and when I did, then I found myself having Christmases alone after 7 years, and that was hard for me to adjust to. And I got what's the word? In 2015, that was 2014. In 2015, like I literally called someone crying on Christmas Day, upset and sad and lonely about all the mistakes that I had made and the pain that I had caused other people. And I know you've recently gone through, I mean, by recently, I mean, a bit more recent than I have. You've gone through a breakup as well.
Yes.
And I want to go straight to the Christmas, the first Christmas after that. How was that for you?
Ooh, that was rough, eh? It was rough because, my breakup and the separation happened mid-year.
Mid-year, so like June?
June, yes.
Okay.
June of 2016. Yes, June of 2016. So the first couple of months were, yes, tough, but then coming to Christmas time, you see, the thing about being married, being in a union, being in a relationship, actually, let's not even make this just about marriage, being in a long-term relationship, is you develop a rhythm. You develop a rhythm that you design not just for now, but even going forward. So one of the things that we had agreed upon was one Christmas would be spent with my people, and the next Christmas with her people, and it would shuttle back and forth like that. So already having been in a relationship for a period of time, that rhythm had already been set. And then now come 2016, and this is Christmas time approaching, and the reality of it now it becomes very real, because you now realize, oh shit, I'm single.
I'm alone.
And what does alone mean? Alone means that the rhythm that I had grown up with is gone. Because growing up, you do it with your folks, the relatives around them, and all of that. That is gone because you've now started developing a life of your own. But then this life of your own is also now disrupted. So I'll speak for myself, for instance. My reasoning at that point was, I can't just rock up at my parents' place. I mean, my parents are amazing people. I am fortunate to have them alive for one, and to have them to be the amazing people that they are. I know that they have not, I am very aware on a logical level. In my mind, I am very aware that they have not chased me away from home. That if I show up to their door, they will welcome me. They will ask me whether I'm hungry, whether I need to eat.
Yeah.
They will be very welcoming of me. I know that logically.
Yeah.
But emotionally,
you're not ready for that.
No. Because emotionally, that means I'm confronting myself as well. That means I know that
you're accepting this new status.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then on the other end as well, around me, the friends that are around me are also, planning with their families how to go to Mombasa, go to Naivasha, go to Shags, go to where. So all of this becomes very, very real. It becomes such, and then I can't, of course, seeing as other friends are now with plans of their own, I can't just show up and be a third wheel in someone's family.
Well, you can. I've become an expert at it. My friends, Kanji and his family, his extended family, they do this Christmas party on Christmas Day. And they invited me for one. And I went and I liked it. And I liked them. Yes. I knew half his family though.
Yes.
And after that, I just get crashed their parties. Yeah. In fact, nowadays I just carry a gift for whoever I'm not in the secret Santa list, but I just carry a gift.
Yeah.
And then I pick one, usually the biggest one.
But you see, the good thing there is
Mm-hmm.
that speaks to the kind of friends that you have around you.
Yes, it does.
That speaks to the fact that they were very aware of what was happening with you, and they opened their doors to you to be able to come into their space.
Admittedly, though, that was on year 3.
That was year 3.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So year 1 and year 2.
Uh-huh.
All by myself.
Was that out of choice on your end, or?
I think a lot like you, bro. I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
You know? Let me give you my context, because my family, the family that I grew up in, my family of origin, is not very Christmassy. And so we didn't make a big do of Christmas. In fact, in my teenage, I don't remember the time I don't remember a Christmas we spent together. Everyone did their own thing, you know. Then the year I got married, being this head of the family, I called my mom. I said, "Mom, I'm bringing my family for Christmas, and so we're coming for lunch. Could you please make us lunch?" She's like, "Yeah, please come." And my mom is an excellent cook. I need to tell you that my mom is a cateress. She's been cooking all my life and doing a fantastic job of it. So I knew my mom was going to throw down Christmas dinner.
Yes.
And so we went, and she made a fantastic meal of ugali, sukuma wiki, and nyama. And it was a really good meal. Like, it was like a really good meal. And a salad, or I can't remember what it was. And so I was very grateful. I'm like, Yanni, thank you, Mom. You didn't let us down. We had Christmas, we hung out, and then on my way home, my wife then asks, tells me, she just makes this comment: "I can't believe your mom made ugali for Christmas." I'm like, huh? What's the problem? Like, ugali for Christmas? Like, but it was a really good meal. I mean, the nyama was a dry fry, like it was a good meal. I didn't understand her shock, until the next year.
Yes.
So now 1 year or so into our marriage, we go to her family side for Christmas.
Yes.
On her insistence, because she's like, now you have to experience. In fact, I had already experienced it the Easter before, but they throw down. Like they have turkey, they have ham, they have Christmas cake, they have a full-on barbecue, they have like potato salad. Like, they throw down, and the entire family comes, extended family, cousins, there's games, there's Secret Santa and gifts. Like, it's a thing. It's a full spread. Oh no, it's not just a spread, it's a gig. It's a gig with security, with lights and stage, and like. Are you serious? I'm not. I exaggerate, but it's really a gig, Yeah. Excuse me. So, I realized that. I mean, that's why for her Christmas is a big deal, and so for the 7 years of our marriage, that's how we did Christmases. Yes, we did them with our family. In fact, even my brothers realized that our lives have been a lie. We've been played all our lives. And so they started coming to her family's gigs for Christmas, because that's what Christmas really is. And then, of course, now after that has become my new normal. That's how we do Christmas. We put up Christmas tree by the first week of December, and we are shopping for gifts and things. And now I'm separated and I'm all alone, and you don't realize it until it happens. Oh shucks, it's Christmas. Yes. And I have no plan. Yeah. I have no one. And me, it was even harder because I've decided to be doing Christmas Eve dinner with the children. Yes. And so I do Christmas Eve dinner with the children and their mom. And then I still wake up to no one. Yes, on Christmas Day. On Christmas Day. Yeah. And that's hard. Yeah. And now on to, I'm wondering, I don't know if you feel what would you have needed then on that first Christmas when you were alone? What would you have needed?
That's actually a tough question, and it's one that I wonder to. I actually ask myself that to this day. I will say this to their credit. So I'm in a life group context for anyone who may not be, conversant with the term. There are little groups where we meet either weekly or monthly, where we just catch up with each other. I will use Christianese for a little bit here. Forgive me.
It's okay.
When
I'm a Christian, so feel free.
We share life with each other. We encourage each other, find out where are you, how are you doing. So for us, we meet every week, every Monday. So this life group for me, and it's led by very good friends of mine, Saiton and Riga. We've been meeting every Monday consistently for almost 2 years now, actually.
Oh, wow.
Actually, it's been more than that, but I joined 2 years ago, and it was on invitation from them. And I think they were aware on some level about what
you're going through,
a lonely Christmas would mean.
Yeah.
So they invited me for a pre-Christmas caroling night at a friend's house of theirs. And that alone, just being in the company of people, but without feeling pressured to share what the story is, because that's I feel where a lot of because at that point it was still raw. I feel that's where a lot of the pain would have come in, where you walk into a space, and I feel like that's where maybe a lot of family gatherings become very tricky, and close friends gathering. Because a lot of people would, out of concern, and I recognize that concern, out of concern will come and ask you, okay, what happened? Are you
let's
okay?
call it what
Tell
it
us
is,
all of
Marcus.
that.
There's out of concern, and then there's out of curiosity. Okay?
Kuna waudaku, wako wengi waudaku, by the way.
Guys just want to have the scoop from the horse's mouth.
Wako wengi waudaku, wapo wengi.
But let's talk about the ones who are concerned.
But yes, there are those out of concern that want to know what happened, and at that particular point, you're still processing, because I was still processing.
Yeah, and especially in the first year, and it could take 2-3 years to process.
It really does. To this day, I will admit, I am still processing.
Yeah.
And the good thing about that space was it allowed me to be myself.
Yeah.
And by be myself, it's to just exist in a space with other people and enjoy Christmas for what it is, which is a celebration of, again, me being Christian, a celebration of Christ and what he did for us and what he continues to do for us. And to their credit, they didn't ask questions. We just had the carols. We had the Secret Santa gifting, and that was it. And that allowed me to sort of gently come back into the Christmas experience without that stark feeling of pain. So I didn't realize it at the time, but with the power of hindsight now, what I needed then was just a space to be present and to recognize that I am a human being of my own and not just defined by whether I am married or single or getting a divorce. Does that make sense?
It makes sense. Let me try and say it in another way.
Yeah.
So you now realize that you needed community.
Yes.
But you needed to be in that space by merit of just you.
Yes.
And not your status.
Exactly.
Not your relationship status.
Yes.
And you didn't want to explain why,
exactly,
what space you're in. And you know what? I want to acknowledge that and say that is very true of me. I think these parties that are now crash regularly, I think I'm invited, but I'd rather say I'm crashing because it makes me feel gangster. So I get that sense of community, and I'm accepted as I am. And that's what it does for me, you know.
Yeah.
And I think maybe as we end this phone call and let you be and start preparing for your own Christmas, I want to ask, what would you tell someone first who is going through a lonely Christmas?
I'd say first off that I feel that level there's a level of, loneliness sounds very abstract.
Mm-hmm.
And being when someone says, "Oh, I feel lonely," it sounds very abstract.
Mm.
But I just want to bring into sharp relief, the fact that loneliness means a level of pain.
Mm.
And to someone who is at this point in time going through such a time,
Mm-hmm.
I just want to say that your pain is valid.
It's valid.
Your pain is valid.
I agree.
That feeling of loneliness, that feeling of pain,
Mm-hmm.
it is valid. And that being the case,
Mm-hmm.
if you, and this is a difficult thing to do. It continues to be a difficult thing for me to do as well to this day. Because again, I say, to this day, I am still processing. But being in a space where I accept that the pain is real,
Mm-hmm.
allows me to be in a space in which I allow myself to feel the pain, but also allow myself to properly acknowledge that this space is also helpful for me. And what I mean by that is, if you're going through such a space, acknowledge that that pain is real, acknowledge that the loneliness is real, but it doesn't invalidate who you are.
Mm.
And knowing that you are a human being by your own right means that you can get into a space by your own right as well. If there are friends that are inviting you out, or if there are friends into whose spaces you can crash.
Yeah. Crash
Parties,
man.
Go for it.
Mm.
Just be present in that space.
Yep.
You don't need to justify your story. You don't need to say this happened. Just be there. Go in, sing carols, have fun, eat that nyama, which is exactly my intention. My friend, the eating I'm about to do.
Mm.
Hey, tutambia mwili pole baadaye.
So we are here encouraging people to crash parties.
Yes.
This is Africa. You can crash as many parties as you want.
Do it.
During Christmas season. If you're visiting from any other parts of the world and you come to Kenya, feel free to crash parties. This is what we do.
Do it. But then that also speaks to the other side of the story as well, which is the people, now the support, I'll call them the support system.
Which is what I was going to ask you. So the people around, if you have someone in your space that you imagine because of, especially of a sudden shift in the relationship status, and it could be as a result of their own mistakes, their own, they catalyze that relationships end, or somebody else's, or death, or whatever it is. What did you tell that support system?
There's something actually that you've just said right now, and I remember us having that conversation. To the support system around, the first thing to say is, it doesn't matter who quote unquote the villain of the story is. And this I'm taking from you remember the conversation that you and I had?
Yes.
It doesn't matter who the instigator was, who the victim was.
Yeah. At
that point in time, the loneliness, the pain, it is universal to both sides of the story.
It's the same.
What I would say now to the support system around is, invite this person in. Whether they decide to come or not, that is not up to you. But make it very clear that your spaces are open to them. This goes to friends, this goes to
safe.
family, this goes to anyone who is around you at the time.
Yeah.
And while in that space, when they do choose to come, I realize that you may want to know what happened out of concern, or maybe labda ni udaku. It doesn't matter what.
Let's call it concern for the sake of the good
Let's
people
call it concern, because for me, I know that the people around me, it was purely out of concern. The thing that I would say in that space, is avoid that question
at this time.
At this particular time.
At this time, I'm not saying avoid the question entirely.
Not entirely.
I think there's a place to have the conversation, but it's not on Christmas Day.
Not on Christmas Day. On Christmas Day, let's enjoy Christmas. Let's enjoy the time together.
Yeah.
Let's enjoy that we are each human beings in our own right, with our virtues, with our mistakes, with our good and bad. Let's celebrate the fact that there is a Jesus who came, and that is why we are celebrating this season, and that is why we're able to come together around this season. Let's recognize and celebrate that. The questions and all of that, those can come later, way later on.
All right, bro.
Yes.
I like that. Hey, Marcus, thank you so much for your time. Thank you
Hey,
so
asante sana
much for your insights. I agree with you. There's a place where, we need to invite people into our spaces and make them safe spaces for them. And I agree with you that if you're going through that shift in your relationship space and you're wondering what to do this Christmas, just get out. Get out and engage. Even if you engage by yourself,
Yes.
do it outside. Do it in public. Go to a restaurant, buy yourself a cup of tea. Go to the park, take a walk. Appreciate nature around you, but don't be alone. Yeah,
I agree completely.
All right. So,
incidentally, what are your plans?
My plans. Wow.
Hey, plans. Hallelujah.
So my plans for Christmas. So I mentioned that I do this Christmas Eve dinner with the children. So I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna crash my boys' party. And I'm gonna be the life of the party this year. They don't know yet, but I'm working on my dance moves. Yeah, and then after that, find some time to rest and reflect for next year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds like a good plan. In that plan, Amani,
yes,
be present in each and every moment.
I will be.
I wish and pray for a very, very fulfilling, a very Merry Christmas to you. As you spend time with your people, maybe full of joy, maybe full of happiness, maybe full of laughter is important. Hey, laughter is very important.
Yeah. And I understand it because I crack my own jokes and then I laugh.
I have been in the presence of you cracking those jokes.
Yeah, some of them are really funny,
moments,
right?
There are moments when I don't know what to do with my life.
Yes.
I ask myself why I know you, why I consider myself your friend.
Bro, I'll hang up this phone call.
I love you as you are.
Anyway, thank you, bro. and I wish you love, laughter, light, joy, happiness during your Christmas season.
Thank you, man.
And I want to ask you for a favor, bro. I love that we've had this conversation. And I want to go, in my first episode of the podcast, I talked about healing through acceptance. And I mentioned this divorce, and I've had a bit of feedback of people asking me to dig a little deeper about my experience. And I want to do that. And I want to ask if, would you come and, share your experience with us as well?
You know what? Considering the fact that we hardly talk about it, yeah, why not?
Hey, yeah, is that a yes?
Yeah, I think that actually, yeah, you know what? I own my decisions. That's a yes.
Oh, fantastic, ladies and gentlemen.
We're game.
Oh, Marcus is going to be in studio. Marcus Olang is going to be in studio. And on our next episode, Marcus, we are discussing divorce.
Fun times. Oh my gosh, that will be a tough conversation. But yes, let's do it. It's a necessary one.
Your experience, though. Just your experience. But for now, I want you to divorce yourself from pain, divorce yourself from loneliness, and have yourself a Merry Christmas.
And a Merry Christmas to you too, my friend.
Thank you, bro.
Sansana.
And thank you for the call.
Let me return to nursing this cough of mine.
Oh, yeah, you do that. I could give you tips, but you just do whatever you're doing.
I shall be in any. I shall succeed. Don't you worry.
I wish you success.
Thank you very much.
All right, bye.
Cheers, man.
Cheers. Thanks. Wow. I mean, that conversation with Marcus just brings to the fore what that alone Christmas can feel like. And I've experienced it. And I want to say this, guys. Again, if you're going through this by yourself, get out. Get out. Get out. Get out. Do it alone in public if you have to. fight what could easily get into a depressive state. And you have a responsibility for the people around you as well. If you're not the one who's going through this, but there's people around you who are going through pain and alone Christmas, reach out. Make that phone call, invite them into that party. Just reach out. You never know. You could be the reason for this season. And with that, I want to wish you a Merry Christmas. I want to wish you joy and happiness. I want to wish you relief from what this year has been, especially for those that have had pain. Those that have had a great year, man, I'm so happy for you. But there's those of us who've not had such a great year, and so I want to wish you joy and relief, and I want to just give you a new list of life for 2019. I want to ask also, give us feedback. Go on to my social media at Amani Maranga on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, and just let me know what you think. Let me know if you're listening to the podcast. Let me know whether this touches you, and if it does, how it does, and let me know what else you want to hear me talk about from my life. But I want to also say thank you to Big City Studios, to my boy Lee Kanyotu once again for doing this. I want to wish you a really Merry Christmas. Have yourself a wonderful time. Have yourself great music. Thank you, Kanji, for letting me crash your Christmas party. And so for that reason, I'm going to use your music on this podcast. So the beginning is from the Simplified album, Christmas Simplified. Look for it and get it. And now this song, as we end the show, God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen, from Well Seasoned, version 1 by Victor Say.
God rest ye merry gentlemen, let nothing you dismay. Remember Christ our Savior was born upon this day to save us all from Satan's power. We had gone astray. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy. Oh, 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 oh,